Welcome back to the party. It is me, your girl, BrittReacts, and today, right now, the day after the presidential inauguration in the United States of Americas, things are just, there's a lot going on in our country. There's literal communities being burned. There's just so much going on. And this popped up on my feed, and I just wanted to watch it. And I'm like, you know what? Let me watch it with my people. This is Amala. She was on Piers Morgan with a panel of commentators, I guess, talking about debating the DEI and the LA wildfires. Her title says, "This got tense." You think?
It's an absolute tragedy. And there is an argument, Amala, that no one could have done anything to stop something quite like this, because it's been a freakish set of circumstances of a Santa Ana wind, which anyone, as I say, if you live in LA long enough, you know all about the Santa Anas. They come like the Mistrals in France. And when they come, you wake up and you a lot of howling wind, and your garden's covered in crap, and we're all used to it. What's different here is the winds were at 100 miles an hour. That's hurricane force winds.
Jesus.
And it coupled with a fire. And when you have 100-mile-an-hour winds blowing across a city with a fire, it's a perfect hellish storm. So let me preface this by saying, it may be nothing could have stopped this from doing what it did. However, I think you have a view, contrary to what Mark said, that DEI and wokeness have played a part in the failures here. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that we're going to learn in the days to come about these fires. As Jillian and I believe Mark mentioned, we're still waiting to see the cause of a lot of these fires. It's totally understandable to me that this is what happens in LA, that we can pretty much imagine that this is going to occur to some extent. But we can also see a department that has, in my opinion, wasted time and resources on these woke agenda pieces like diversity, equity, and inclusion. Where could that time and where could those resources have gone?
Okay, I have a couple things to say. First things first, Jillian, wasn't she at one point like a fitness guru? I just love when people can rebrand themselves. I love that. I love that for her. If I'm thinking of the right Jillian, wasn't she on the show, The Biggest Loser? Wasn't she a trainer on that show? Is that the right Jillian? And now look at you, girl. You're a political commentator. It's fantastic. Amala looks fantastic. I loved watching everyone's face as they listened to Piers. Everyone was kind of agreeing. He was saying agreeable things. And as Amala starts to talk, you can see body language and face and brows starting to... I have not touched much on the wildfires in LA, simply because, I feel like it's still ongoing and there's still so much unfolding as far as the causes, the rescue efforts, the cleanup, and everything like that. And also, it's such a sensitive thing. There are so many real affected families, peoples. It's heartbreaking. But I was interested in the title because I think Amala touches on this a lot about how she feels about the diversity, equity and inclusion, I think it is, and she's got a very strong point of view on it, very strong, and so I was interested to see her take and then everyone else's take, but yeah, I think, as Piers said, all of the elements just kind of came together at the wrong time. I know there's rumors of people also starting fires. I don't know how true that is, but I think in this case, Mother Nature did what Mother Nature does, and that is be a fierce force of nature.
Could they have been allocated to when it comes to response to these fires? Not only that, I'm seeing reports on social media, I don't know about anybody else, of arsonists, looters, and this is sort of a culture that we've created here in Los Angeles, here in California, with the way that we've been soft on crime, with the different policies that we've pushed forward. So honestly, I think we're at this moment of just waiting for information. But as Jillian said, you can also see that reservoir that held what should have been 117 million gallons of water was not working. The brush cleanup that should have been happening for decades was not happening. You have Rick Caruso here in Los Angeles, who was running for leadership. He managed to save his land, his properties, and he did so through proper planning and being proactive. So what could we have done in this city? Probably a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Mark Lamont Hill, you know, I saw you shaking your head there, but I'm not quite sure what you're shaking your head about.
Yeah,
Because anyone who's lived in LA, like I said, it's been clear. Two things have been clear. Newsom has had a lot of rhetoric about being tough on crime and sorting out the homeless problem and so on. And the complete reverse has happened. You know, even in Beverly Hills, where I live, and I go to lots of other parts of the city when I'm
Piers
in
lives in Beverly
LA,
Hills?
But even in Beverly Hills, the degree of homelessness, the degree of crime, violent crime involving guns, right in the middle of Beverly Hills at lunchtime, shootouts in restaurants and things, that never used to happen.
Lamont is like either in grave denial or he's about to come with facts. I mean, she's presented such great points. I don't live in LA. I have tons of friends, close friends that live in LA, and I think everyone will say LA has met its decline for some time now, as far as crime, homelessness, affordability, among other things. The one thing that I think Amala mentioned was, I can't remember who she said it was, but this person was prepared and was able to save their land. I saw a reel earlier today about Jennifer Aniston, and I don't know how real it was, but it said that she bought an older home, $21 million mansion. It was an older home that was built in the 70s, but she had it when she did all her renovations, she added in tons of fire protection preparations because she knew she lived in the hills. Even though she's up higher, she knew the risk, and so she secured her home with, it had like state-of-the-art stuff, and obviously she can afford that, but she knew where she lived and she was prepared for a day like this. Now, granted, millions of other people who are not in her tax bracket don't have that luxury, and also people who are in her tax bracket are coming out and saying their insurance companies dropped them because what did they know? Brush not being cleaned up for decades is crazy. Like, this is crazy. And so I think the title and Amala's stance can be a bit jarring, but if you listen to her points are all on. It's like, instead of putting money in, I think the budget was super cut in LA for things that should have been done to potentially have at least lessened the threat of this natural disaster. But everything she said is like, if we weren't trying to put things towards these initiatives. Another good example, and this is not in LA, but this was about the lady that Joe Rogan, I did a reaction to. He was talking about, she's like the fat czar of San Francisco. They're putting their money into making people of larger size feel more comfortable rather than eradicating the drug and homelessness problem in their city. And that's what she's saying. She's like, we're putting our money in all these places for this culture of like, make everyone feel good, and we're not focusing on the things that really matter, which is community safety, getting crime down, getting homelessness under control. Like, I don't understand how Lamont, don't make me mad. Don't piss me off, Lamont. His face is already making me mad.
In the middle of Beverly Hills at lunchtime, shootouts in restaurants and things, that never used to happen, I can tell you. It was never like it is now. So there's no doubt to my mind that when Amala says what she said there about issues like the crime increasing and so on, it's indisputable. If you live there, you know it.
Right. I mean, if one were not watching this video and only hearing it, they would think that I shook my head when we were talking about crime and homelessness. I didn't.
Well, you
so
seem to.
What I shook my head.
I'm sorry.
What I shook my head to was the issue around the quote unquote woke policies and DEI policies. Right. That specific is what I'm addressing. So we don't have to guess. I'm telling you what it was. The idea that there's some relationship between the fires and the department's investment in DEI policies. Even Amala herself has said, we're going to find out if that's the case. But why are we beginning from a premise that that is the case? Is anything possible? Sure, but there's no evidence of it. Also, the idea of calling it a wasted effort to me is a bit bizarre. As I'm sure you know, or maybe you don't, I'm talking to the audience, not you two in particular, the department had a significant problem with sexual harassment. The department had a significant problem with racial discrimination. It's acknowledged that. The department had multiple firefighters sue. The department acknowledged that they were overrepresented by white men and underrepresented by other groups. And to be clear, that's...
Why? Okay. I love that he corrected, like, if you weren't watching this, you may have thought I was shaking my head at this. And I hear what he's saying. Like, he doesn't agree that the woke agenda is an issue, but he's saying that perhaps this change in the department was actually because there were lawsuits and there were complaints. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm on fire, my house on fire, my dog is on fire, my children are in a house that's on fire, I don't care if a green man is coming to save the day. So why does that matter that the department was overwhelmingly full of white men? These people are not like plucked out of obscurity. They choose this job. Just come save me. I don't care who you believe in. I don't care what degree of education you have. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what type of hair you have. I don't care what you drive. Just come save me. Why does that matter? Which I think is always Amala's point. It's just like, why are we even factoring in race? Do you care what race the fireman is that's coming to save your life? Please, sir, I would rather a black firefighter. Please don't touch me. I'm just going to wait right here in this blazing flame until the right color person comes to get me. Huh? And I know the argument is about like there's a lot of women firefighters that have been highlighted in this and some LGBTQ plus community members, and that's becoming an issue. And I saw another reactor say like, I don't care what you're talking about. If there's a man and a woman and I have an option, I want the man to come save me. And everyone has the right to say that. I mean, hello, we have this conversation all the time. Men are anatomically bigger, stronger, and more capable of physical exertion and strength for the most part. But that doesn't mean a woman can't also save your life because she knows how to do something. She's trained well. She has the technical abilities to do it. Again, it's like, why do we have to then go and highlight and only interview these people because it aligns with what we've been trying to push out anyway? How about shout out to all of the firefighters, all of them. Shout out to all of y'all. This is crazy. All right, let me go back.
It's a statistical analysis. That's not a subjective assessment. It's not a moral judgment. I'm saying they're overrepresented demographically. So in light of that, my question would be, if you don't think they needed an inclusion or equity initiative, how should they have responded? This is to Amala. How should they have responded to the proven cases of discrimination, sexism, and harassment that were happening in the department? What should they have done instead of having an initiative?
Okay, well, fair enough. Amala?
Yeah. Sure, I can answer that. Yeah, when we're looking at those cases that you've just spoken about, sure, we should hear out every single case of sexual harassment and discrimination, especially if we can prove that it's on the basis of race, or we can prove that there is ill intent within a department. Now, that's not what's being articulated by the LAFD. They are saying that they are looking specifically for people of certain races, of particular gender backgrounds, and we should be moving towards a race-neutral future. If you want people to be judged on the content of their character, of their abilities, their intelligence, their strength, which is very important when it comes to the fire department, you should do exactly that. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're a woman. It has nothing to do with your race. And as we saw that assistant fire chief state, she's speaking about diversity, equity, and inclusion through a lens of wanting people who look like her to be in the department, wanting to be able to show the houses of California residents that apparently look like her so she can serve them better. And she's not really speaking to her capabilities.
And I think I saw a clip of her saying like, I only, it was something that alluded to that people, I don't know if people twisted it up, but basically her saying like, I only want to serve people who look like me kind of thing, which is like, whoa, don't quote me on that. It was something to the tune of, if you know what I'm talking about, drop it down below.
Look like her so she can serve them better, and she's not really speaking to her capabilities. As she even stated in her own video, she'd be incapable of carrying a man out of a fire. So your articulation of diversity, equity, inclusion is very different from what we're getting. And let's not forget that diversity, equity, and inclusion is based out of critical race theory, which is fundamentally flawed. If we truly want race neutrality and people to be judged based off of their abilities, we should do exactly that.
In the words of Nene Leakes, I said what I said. That was a throwback Housewives of Atlanta reference. If you know, you know. All right. Sound off in the comments, friends. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button. Share this video. Turn on that notification bell. And I'll see you next time. Go and have the day you deserve. Bye.